remember the last time I was wearing less than 10 layers outside and was outside for more than 10 minutes. That's why I have always liked to bring the outdoors indoors. Just imagine having succulents, herbs, cacti, flowers just surrounding you in everyday life. It really brings a nice sunny day feel during cold winter blizzards. I've been growing and maintaining my own greenhouse since I was pretty much in middle school. This will bring you relaxation, a calming, tension-free greenhouse space within your house, and always makes a good little home decor piece. My grandpa and I would spend hours in his garden during the summer. He would always tell me when we were talking to the veggies and trying to feed the veggies, he'd always tell me, "Jen, stop choking the tomatoes." And ever since then, I've really taken it up to be a better plant mom, and I've always just thought of him when making sure that my plants have just as good of a life as they can have. But before you can really grow your own plants, you really need to learn how to repot your plants, because that is one of the basics of having succulents. Today I will be showing you how to plant your succulents. I'm going to explain the basics of planting your own plant. Really what this entails is you will need to know what soil you need. Soil is a huge part of planting. You will also need to know what type of container is best for your plant. Every plant is different with space they need, with what type of container allows their roots to really flourish. And you lastly will need to know how to actually plant your succulent or your plant in its new home. First, the foundation to any good houseplant is the right type of soil. Many people think you can really just throw any plant into any type of soil and it will do just fine, which is true, it will do fine. But if you want a plant to thrive and to flourish, really succulents are very particular on their soil. If you're gonna first wanna know, where can I buy the soil, or how can I make the soil? And really just go to any garden center, any hardwood store, sometimes even grocery stores have good succulent soil. You just really have to look for it. Succulents thrive in dry climates. A dry climate it holds like a low moisture dirt or rocks with moss. The moss will maintain the water and kind of lets it go to the roots as the roots need it. In their native climates, succulents grow in sandy, well-drained soil, so you want to duplicate this as much as you can. A good tell for your soil is to give it a good squeeze. I have some right here. Give it a good squeeze. If it kind of like falls apart, that's good. That's a good soil. If it kind of keeps the shape that you push it in, that means it is too moist, and it will stay too moist for your succulents, and most likely they will receive root rot. A good guideline for your plant soil is to make sure it drains well as it is porous. You really want the water to just kind of run through the soil. You want a planter, which I will get to, that has holes on the bottom, but you want a soil that kind of lets the water go through so it's porous. As it's running through, it just grabs a few droplets here and there and gives it to the roots. Secondly, luckily many succulents can live and even thrive in small, congested spaces, which makes them perfect for homes and dorms of any size. Now I will show you how to choose a pot for your succulents so it can flourish in its new home. Most succulents have shallow roots, so you can really put them into shallow or squat bowls, which are things that are only about a couple inches to an inch tall, but they're very wide. A tip for those who have had or have wilting succulents is succulents can't stand up straight and hold their posture in moist soil, so your container will have to have at least one drainage hole, as this one does. You can see probably my gray shirt behind is you have all these drainage holes, which is great. It lets, with your porous and well-drained soil, it will let the water escape instead of holding it at the roots, which will give it a root rot. Something that's really cool about succulents is, unlike most houseplants, it can survive in both outside and indoors. Mostly you want to keep them outside during the summer months, just because during winter they have a good chance of going into doormat and probably dying off. But in summer it is great to just throw them out on your deck. You're gonna have to feed them a lot more, but they do very well outside. To wrap up, I will put all these things together and all these concepts together, and I will show you how to put your succulent in its new oasis. So the very first step that you want to really go through with repotting is you want to get away all the loose dirt that was once held in its old pot. When you take a succulent from a nursery, let's say from Home Depot, it's gonna have the toughest, worst soil you'll ever have. So it'll be very stuck to the roots, and you're really gonna have to try and just grab the roots and just get as much dirt. And even now that I've taken most of it off before this demonstration, there's still some in there. The thing that you want to worry about though is you don't, as you're taking the dirt off, you don't want to take the roots out. So you have to be very gentle, and you have to know, okay, is that piece worth losing to get that dirt out? And most likely it's not. It's gonna be fine, but try to get as much dirt away. Next, what you're gonna wanna do, this is the old pot, so I'm gonna put it over here. So I have two pieces to this plant because I ripped it apart. This is the baby plant of this one. So I'm gonna replant this one for this demonstration. So what you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna wanna have your pot and your plant. You wanna place it, and then you're gonna take your soil that you want, and I am using cactus, palm, and citrus potting mix. As you see right here, it says fast draining formula. This is perfect for succulents. They usually do take the same soil that cactuses use, and they do really well on it because cactuses are just like them and they want as least water as possible. So what you're gonna do is right now from my leftover plant there's a little bit of soil at the bottom. Give that a good little mix to loosen it up a little bit, and then pat it down. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna wanna scoop up the dirt that's in your bag or that you've made, and you wanna fill it up almost to the top. Mine is pretty much right at the rim. There's a good inch. That's just to, get your plant in there. So then what you're gonna do is you're gonna create a little hole. And this is to place your roots in because you want them to have a little bit of a head start. So you have them, plant them. And now, okay, I've added my succulent, the roots are in there. I always have like a second little pot that's mini just to help me add the dirt, because it does get a little tough at the back when you're just having one person doing it. So I always do it like this. It's like a second hand, it's like a second person helping you. Oh, and I got a little messy there, that's fine. So then you're gonna really wanna push it down and give your plant a little bit of stability. It's gonna be kind of tough at first because it is finding a new home, so it has to find its new grounds to kind of grip on. So at first your plant may droop a little bit. If you want, you can get kebab sticks or bamboo sticks, whatever you can find. And if you put it up, dig it down in the soil, and you can hold up your plant a lot easier that way. And look, now we have repotted a succulent. It is super easy, it's super efficient, it's nice, easy. Now, another thing you want to go with is, another pro tip is you don't want to water your succulent right away. You want to let it sit, soak in the moisture that's already in the dirt, then you're going to water it a couple days after. This really helps prevent root rot. I have now shown you how to build your succulent a new home. In the last few minutes, we have gone over the basics of what is involved in succulent care. Now, there are many different things you can do with these plants. You can get way more creative. This is the bare basics. You can add rock, you can add moss, you can add so many fun little things, and it's even is better for your plants. But I hope I left you with a better understanding of the basics of planting. Next time you go to Home Depot, walk over to the garden center. look at the little baby succulents and how cute they are, but remember they are choking, they are suffocating in this very moist, gross soil, and they're in small spaces. Even though they're not terrible, it's just you could give them such a better home, and now you know how. This really is a couple minutes of your time, and it's a great addition to your space, so why not?